Seize the Power is a game of control for 2 to 4 players. The goal of the game is to acquire the most power. You'll do this by bidding on cards and building up what's called your scheme. This set of cards, collected round after round, will grant you special abilities that generate income or other effects. When the game ends, you'll total up all your power. It will come from 4 sources. First, you'll have power chips. These will be red in this video. Every 4 gold that you have at the end of the game will also count as 1 power. Gold will be represented here by yellow chips. Some cards you own will count for power. And finally, matching symbols on the cards will give you power. To start playing, give each player a screen. Put about 20 gold chips per player in the middle of the table to form the gold supply. Also make a supply of exactly 7 power chips per player. You should have additional power chips on hand, but just keep them out of the game for now. Select a random player to be the boss for the first round. That player will shuffle the deck of cards and place it in front of him or herself. Now players will go through these steps, repeating them round after round until the game ends. First, all players will take 5 gold from the supply in the middle of the table, and they'll place it behind their screens. Next, the boss will reveal cards from the deck and place them in a row in the middle of the table. The number of cards revealed will be 1 per player, plus 1 more. So in this 3-player game, 4 cards would be revealed. Text on the cards can be read aloud at this time so everyone understands their effects. If any of those cards have a star icon in the upper left, the boss will also place a power chip from the supply on it. Now all players will choose a number of gold chips from behind their screen and hold them in their closed fists. This number of chips is like a bid. Higher bids will let players get the best choice of cards from those on display. When everyone is ready, the players reveal their bids. The gold chips are placed in front of their screen so everyone can see them. Now players will take turns based on how much gold they bid. The first player will be the one who bid the most. If there's ever a tie for the highest bid, break ties starting with the boss going clockwise around the table. In this case, the boss bid 3 chips, so he'll take the first turn. On a turn, the player first pays the bid back to the supply. He or she chooses one of the cards in the lineup. It's placed in front of the player's screen. Any power on that card would go behind the screen. After acquiring a new card or cards, the player can carry out any effects on his or her cards if they apply. A card can only be used once per turn. Many cards will require the player to pay gold to the supply before they can be used. Some take place automatically at the start of the round and can't be used at this time. Carefully read and follow the effects of the cards you acquire. Many of them change the rules as they are explained here or in the rules document. At the end of the turn, the active player must discard cards until he or she has at most 5. Now use the bids to determine who will take the next turn. In this case, both remaining players bid the same number of chips, but this player will go first since he's closest to the left of the boss. After that turn, this player will take a turn. After all players have paid their bid, taken a card, and finished the turn, the round ends. Pass the deck clockwise to the next player. He or she becomes the next boss and continues the game as described until it ends. Notice that each round at least 1 card will be left unpurchased. When the boss reveals the first card for the new round, it always goes on top of that card, or stack of cards, that was left from the previous round. Whenever a player has a chance to select a card from the lineup, he or she may choose a stack of multiple cards. If so, all those cards go in front of his or her screen, and any power chips on those cards go behind the screen. When the pool of power chips runs out, the game ends immediately or at the end of the current player's turn. At that time, the players will calculate their scores to determine a winner. Remember that power comes from these 4 sources. Matching symbols on the card are worth points as shown in this table. The player with the most power wins. Be sure to have the full rules handy as you play through your first game.